Welcome to this presentation of the Newton Conover High School Attendance Policy Explained. Hi, I'm Charles Henry Thompson III, but you can call me Chuck. I'll be your tour guide as we walk through the finer points of our school's attendance policy. During this video, we will take a look at what makes an absence, the difference between an excused absence and an unexcused absence, absence documentation, some important absence numbers, and the various stages of intervention necessary for having those absences. The first question is, what is an absence? This may seem obvious, but for new students and teachers, there are a few things we should cover. The first thing we must understand is that absences are counted by class period, not by school day. This means that your daily attendance report reflects each class individually. A misunderstanding of this leads to the myth that your attendance can't possibly be right if you have a different number of absences for each class. So, what is an absence? If you miss more than 30 minutes of a class, you are absent from that class. There are a few times when students are not marked absent. That's when they're on a field trip, in-school suspension, or are a sports team member attending a team sporting event. Aside from those exceptions, if you miss more than 30 minutes of a class, you are absent from that class. Now I'll start explaining the process of how an unexcused absence becomes an excused absence. Fact: every absence starts out as an unexcused absence. Fact: if you have too many unexcused absences in a class, then you lose credit for that class. Notice the emphasis is on you. How many unexcused absences do I get? The answer to that question is 4 in a semester. At 4 unexcused absences, you still receive credit for a course. But at 5 unexcused absences, course credit is denied unless a parent comes in for a conference. During the conference, the parent is given a copy of the attendance policy while it is explained to them. Once the signature form is signed, course credit is restored. So that's it? One parent meeting, sign a form, and I can keep being absent? Absolutely not. Your new limit is 8. The parent conference covers your unexcused absences up to number 8. Once you hit absence number 9, course credit is again denied unless it is granted upon appeal. At this point, the effort is all yours. You have to appeal to have your credit restored, which means you have to pick up the application, you must complete the top portion, you must get an updated copy of your attendance report after your documents have been turned in, you must write an explanation as to why you have so many unexcused absences, and you must turn the application in on time. However, the decision as to whether you receive credit or not is not yours. That decision is up to the principal's designee, or a group of people the principal designates to make the decision. This leads to the obvious question: why let your course credit rely on the decision of someone else? And the follow-up question: how can you keep all that from happening? There are 2 obvious answers. The first is limit the number of times you are absent. The second is work to have as many absences as possible excused. So, how does that work? How does an unexcused absence become an excused absence? The key is documentation. Documentation is the piece of paper you submit as proof of your reason for being absent. These are turned in and kept filed in the office. An absence document should be submitted for every absence. However, not every document makes an absence excused. What kind of documentation excuses an absence? One is an official excuse properly submitted to the office. These official excuses include doctor's notes, dentist and orthodontist notes, court notes, and a few others. The other document that excuses an absence is an official school form properly completed and submitted for college days and independent study days. All documents must be turned in within 1 week of the absence. When an official excuse is unavailable, parent note like this one should be submitted for each absence. However, the parent note does not change an unexcused absence into one that is excused. Parent notes might seem pointless, but they will be used during appeals to help reach a decision. As a side note, out-of-school suspension days are all unexcused. This is according to Newton Conover School Board policy. As long as you pass your classes, you are in control of whether or not you get credit, until you have 5 absences and do not have a parent conference, or you have 9 absences and your appeal is denied. In conclusion, some final thoughts are: come to school as often as possible, and submit absence documentation within 1 week for all absences.